Alright, if your Kia Stinger has rattling from the sunroof, I'm going to show you how to fix it using a technique developed by a man from England called Mark Collins, using only a Torx 25 screwdriver, some scissors, some rubber matting, and a dream. Now, before I applied this fix, my roof sounded like this, and it drove me up the wall. After I applied the fix, my roof sounds like this, which is great. So step one, once you have everything ready, is to open the roof this much. We want to crack that seal and then stop it. And the reason we're stopping it there is because we have exposed the 3 bolts that we'll need to undo on the inside. So there's one there, and one there. And the same again on the other side. Now the only one that's a little bit tricky to undo is this back one, just because you can't quite get your hand up into that space and work the screwdriver from a 90-degree angle. So it can be quite tight initially, but all you need to do is just slightly work it from maybe a 45-degree angle. And because the Torx screwdriver fits so nicely into the bolt, it's not too much of a problem. You also need to get this bolt on the exterior. Now we've exposed it by having the roof up but flat, we can finally see it. You don't technically have to do this bolt, but I find it much easier because it means you can lift the roof up one side at a time to apply our rubber fix. So that's one half of the roof unbolted, and I've also done the exterior bolt. So you can see we can move it up and down. And my trick for not losing track of my bolts, because I'm terrible at this, is there are 4 bolts. So I put them sequentially in the 4 notches in the seat. You can buy them, but I'm going to lose them for sure. Okay, so with our 8 T25 Torx screws removed, I can show you the fix. And it's pretty simple. So just lifting the roof up, you can see it there. Between this railing on the glass panel and this railing on the body, just installed a small piece of that rubber matting that we've cut to size. And you can see, because we've undone all of the screws, we can actually lift the roof up from side to side to make installation way easier. So all you need to do is cut about a ½ centimeter strip of this rubber foaming. Mine's adhesive, but you can also use super glue, and just lay it all along that rail the entire way. And then once you're done, you can drop the roof down and make sure that it's in place. And if you can just see here, the important thing when resecuring it is to try to get focus here. Make sure that this is in line with your factory screw setting. So you can see there that circular outline, that's where you want your Torx 25 screw to be. And that's the, oh sorry, my hands are shaking a little bit here. That's the first screw that I do when I'm putting the roof back on, just so that it's in alignment, because I have done it where I've screwed it in down like that, which works, but the roof is then slightly depressed when fully closed. I don't think it's an issue, but it could cause wind noise on a highway. So again, just make sure that you're lining it up with the factory screw setting. Okay, so lifting it up here, you can see I've applied a second layer of the adhesive. Oh, sorry about the shaking. I've applied a second layer of the adhesive rubber. So there is 1 layer, 2 layer, just because I wasn't quite getting enough separation from just 1 layer. But the strip that I bought isn't quite long enough, so I'm just going to have to cut off a second bit, just for that end part. It's about 1/3 of the way, and you can see here, you can line up the sunroof really easily just by dropping it down and aligning that hole with where the screw is supposed to go. Pretty straightforward stuff, and we can see there we've got alignment, and you can feel that it's nested really nicely. So I'll just do that last bit of strip and then do the other side. Okay, so first things first, when you're replacing the T25 screws, is to do the back external ones first. And as you can see there, I'm not sure if I can quite get it. I'll try and zoom in. Ooh, that's good. That is aligned with the circle from where it was installed at the factory. So that's what you want to be aiming for on both sides. You need to lift the roof slightly while you're screwing the screw in on both sides. So I'll just go and do the other side now. All right, so the second external screw is also, as you can see, aligned with the circle in which it was originally screwed in, which means it's in the factory setting. Again, don't know how important that is, just feels like the right thing to do. So now we can get inside and retighten the 6 remaining T25 screws. Okay, small disclaimer, if you've got a garage, do it in there, because it's just started raining where I am and I've had to deploy the emergency towel. But you can see what a difference this has made already. So you can slightly see the rubber up there. I'm not that concerned about it. If you are, you can probably trim it a bit more delicately than I have. But what you can see is that that screw is now no longer sitting way lower than it should, and the gap between the glass railing and the body railing is cushioned by those 2 pieces of rubber that we've installed, those 2 long strips. So instead of the roof going do and clattering together, what you'll find is that those two pieces of rubber greatly silence that clattering between the 2 rails. So all we need to do is redo that screw, and then little troublemaker up the back, which is a little bit harder but not that difficult. So I start with the front, just so that the front and the rear external are secured, and then work my way into the middle. And that is it, it's all done. I've just gone for a test drive at different speeds on different road conditions, highway, gravel, and there is no metal clattering sound. There wasn't anyway, because I already had 1 strip of rubber installed, but adding that second strip probably took the last 10% of the sound away, especially because when I'm driving, I normally have the cloth cover closed, so you really can't hear anything anymore, except for the glorious sound of the engine, which is great. So one thing I'd say to everyone who has been back to the dealer multiple times, maybe just show them this, show them that it works. Something that happened to me, and I know that's happened to a lot of people, is that they'll take their Stinger into Kia. Kia will regrease the rails, regrease the rubber seals, maybe even replace the rails and the seals, but then the problem will develop again in about 200 Ks. So there is still some noise, probably about 10% from the rubber seals. That's weather dependent. So here on a warm rainy day, because they're expanding and the moisture is filling those gaps, no rubber noise. But on a cold, dry day, you can hear that rubber creak and kind of squeak around a little bit around the panoramic sunroof, and not so much around the door seals. So my dealers said that they will be replacing that rubber seal on the sunroof and the door frames. But I'm not really expecting that to be the difference maker, because I've already fixed the sunroof rattle by doing Mark's trick, installing those rubber strips up there. So yeah, if you're like me and you've been to the dealer 3 times and you're really having issues with it, maybe show them this video. It's something that they could install themselves, or I'm not mechanically gifted, but as you can see, it's really not hard. It's 4 screws, it's scissors, rubber, a screwdriver, and a bit of time. And if you're really worried about it, you can get someone to help you hold that sunroof in place, but it stays really still. So I hope this has helped out some people, especially those who are really struggling with the dealership network and trying to get someone to acknowledge that, yes, this is a problem with the panoramic sunroof and it's not fixed permanently just by regreasing the wheels. And good luck on your adventures out there. Drive safe.